Good morning, everybody on YouTube. It's Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. Hey guys, we got all this equipment dropped off yesterday, a buttload of stuff. And yes, the guy I got this stuff from, he said that they all had a lot of problems. Yeah, they have an awful lot of problems. All right, these decks are suffering from poor environment, sitting around, bad handling by the operator, you name it. These decks have an awful lot of problems. As far as the 3/4 pneumatic decks, every one of these is going to be fixable. They just need the maintenance kits and lubrication adjustments and all the normal stuff that I do to these decks. They all power up. They just have to be serviced. So these decks are confirmed being good to be able to service and fix. So I'm assessing all the other decks first. Let's start over on this one first. This is a Digital 8 or D9. This one is also suffering from sitting around too long and not being used. It's going to need a whole new maintenance kit, lubrication adjustments and everything else. But it's actually coming up, but the grease and everything is hard as a rock on these things. These things were stored in some pretty bad environments. They must have been in some type of outside environment, shed or building or something like that, because they're suffering from serious maintenance issues. They need to be serviced, re-greased, alignments, belts. All the belts are turning white and opaque and cracking, and you can see where they're all cracked and falling apart. So all the rubber on these things are going to have to be replaced. But this Digital S deck is fixable. It's going to need maintenance, just major maintenance pretty much. Not too big of a problem, but I did have somebody comment about the Digital 8. This one does have the SDI output, or the serial output for digital output, and we'll be able to actually use this for SDI. Very, very nice unit. It does have the SDI connection, so this makes this deck pretty valuable. Because once it's fixed and actually running, which it'll take a little bit to get this up and running, this thing could be used through SDI capture. And if they have digital S tapes, you can, it could be a really valuable deck. So the Digital 8 deck is going to be fixable, so that's good. All right, the D2, which is this bigger deck down here. Basically it has a systems card problem, which means it's got a bad systems card. I did fix the loading and mechanisms on this yesterday, so it takes both shells, large and small. It wasn't even doing that. It's just suffering from neglect, sitting around, hard grease, serious bad rubber parts, and so we're going to be able to get the D2 working. This is going to be a really good thing once I get this one up and running. The DVC Pro we got right here. This one suffers from, it looks like a complete carriage and maintenance problem as well. So we're going to assess on repairing this one as I start going through all these decks. This one also has SDI out, which is really, really beautiful. So we'll be able to do SDI out on that. I believe we're going to be able to, these two decks, D2 and the DVC Pro, these are not that big of a problem for fixing. They just have the total maintenance problem they're going to need. Now this Betacam, digital Betacam SP up here is suffering from several card problems and mechanism problems. This one here is pretty much a piece of junk, so it's going to be stripped down for its parts. So I'm going to be breaking this one down and recycling it and keeping all the best parts out of it. So we're probably going to keep the D2, the DVC Pro, and the Digital S. We're definitely going to keep. So that assesses with pretty much the 3/4 pneumatics, which you're going to have some that are available. And so if you have a 3/4 pneumatic you might need, or you want to get one at a decent price that's serviced, that's not in bad shape. I know people buy these off eBay and they don't work and they're just complete disasters, and people get them and they're returning them, and they cost a lot of money, between $300-400 for the average ones. Some of the better ones are $1,000 or more. But if you have a 3/4 pneumatic you're interested in and you're looking for one, let me know, because I could service one and give it to you at a very good price. Plus it's going to be shipped from me directly. I don't have to buy it or get it anywhere. We're just going to build you one out of the ones that we have sitting here. So all these 3/4 pneumatics are serviceable, and they're going to be, I'll have some that's actually going to be for sale. So, but these are all serviceable decks up here. I'm assessing all these decks that's still left on this one rack. The D2 is fixable, the DVC Pro is fixable, and the Digital S. But the good news is, really good news is, yesterday I did have the parts to fix the D5. Now, the D5 is a digital format, and I got that here. This is a D5, cleaned up the machine, and it's made by Panasonic. This actually had major mechanism problems, so I fixed the mechanism, the alignments and everything, and had a couple belts. I did have the parts for this one. So now we have this D5 that will be in operational, and this one does have a SDI output on it, serial output, so we'll be able to capture an SDI as well. This is a really good machine. It's a D5, very heavy duty. So this one now works. So we did get the D5 fixed. That had parts and lubrication and alignments and everything else, which we did fix. See, a lot of these are just suffering from major mechanical problems. When the entire mechanism has to be completely broke down, restored, new belts, new tires, alignments, and whatever. But we're getting a pretty good handle on everything we have here. The 3/4 pneumatics, these are all on the end, meaning these are all serviceable decks as I get rid of them, as people need whatever, and whatever I keep, whatever I don't keep. So these are all on one table to be serviced. These, we have two serviceable ones. This one right here is a complete piece of crap. I'm going to break this one down. Not worth all the trouble of locating too many cards, too many problems on this one. Plus, it's just a digital Betacam SP, and I have several of those in my living room, so it's not anything very, very important. So fixing it isn't really worth the time and effort, so we're going to strip this one down. I do not have a Digital S. This one is going to be fixed. So we'll have a Digital S, we'll be up and running. We'll get a D2 working, and you know, we're just making assessments on these decks of stuff I don't have, stuff that could be fixed, and stuff that could be sold. So we'll have some stuff that will be available on the 3/4 pneumatic end of it. Just let me know if you're looking for one, and I can shoot you a price on a serviced unit. I just want to let everybody know, a lot of these decks do not have front covers or top covers on them, so they'll be sold to people who happen to need them at good prices. A lot of these 3/4 pneumatics do not have covers due to the fact these came from a machine room in a TV station where they were in racks. So they took the covers off and they never put them back on. So anyways, let me know. We're going to have some stuff. We're just going over the assessments on all this equipment. And this is Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services.